Welcome back to another Dumpster Talk, guys. We are here with Liz Ackerman of the Northern Lancaster Chamber. Liz, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. I am super excited. This is my first official podcast, and it makes sense that it's going to be with a chamber member and with you guys, because you are very well known for your podcasts.
Yes.
We appreciate that. Yeah, we get a lot of people, kind of wherever we go, we get a lot of people saying we're like the dumpster guys and stuff, and especially at the chamber too, so it's good. We're definitely all connected.
Yeah, everybody that has a metal recycling place has a podcast, I'm sure, right?
Well,
There's
I don't
a couple
know.
out there, yeah.
We're growing a little bit. So I guess we can just start off. Kind of, you were letting us know you had a kind of a chaotic Easter, but we're back.
Yes, a little bit, yeah. My family, my parents and my brothers, they all tested positive for COVID. So it was a flurry of just hospital visits. Everybody's doing really well right now, but it meant that we weren't able to all be together for Easter. However, it was really an example of obviously being able to have things be hectic, but think on the fly and find solutions and still be able to celebrate. I made all the food and took it over to them. So it was still a really good Easter, but it brought home, obviously, the importance of Easter is, still being able to support each other and be together as a family.
Yeah, so we're still dealing with that type of stuff, but we made it through.
Yes, absolutely. And, it's really good that we have such great healthcare partners in Northern Lancaster County. So everybody's doing well and being taken care of.
And you were saying a little bit about your family. You have your kids they're at home today, home from school?
Yes, so my kids, as most kids, are off today on Monday for Easter break, and so they're at home relaxing right now, but that was wonderful for me because I got to work from home this morning. My schedule's pretty flexible, but I knew that I had this. I just worked from home and then was able to come down here to Columbia to be with you guys and learn more about Sahd. My first official tour was this morning, and it is amazing, everything that you guys do here. It's very diverse. There were some things that I knew about, a lot of things I didn't know about. So Isaiah, thank you so much for the tour, because I think people could probably come here over 50 times and still learn something from what you are doing here at Sahd.
Yeah, we're still learning we're all learning every day too. So.
Every day
We're learning.
Well, and it was really interesting because I asked Isaiah, how did you start here?
Yes.
And you were sharing that you are friends with Alex. And so Alex has really facilitated a lot of opportunities for your friends to get knowledgeable and get into this industry. And we were talking about how, having that relationship of knowing each other for a really long time helps in this type of an environment where you're dealing with a lot of dangerous things. We were just talking about the baler and knowing that how people are going to react in situations and knowing that they have your back and really are going to take all the safety precautions. I think that your relationships definitely help in this environment.
Yeah, really, they all started working with me, but I wasn't really in it much longer than they were, so we're all kind of learning it all together. I think is a really good thing.
I think the learning thing is what drives us the most. You got to learn every day, and that's what we love about it. That's why I came here, because I saw Alex was learning from Dan and Mike, and you can't find nothing better than that.
No, and I can definitely tell just in the interactions outside of the scrapyard when I have seen you and interacted with all of you at chamber events, just the leadership that Dan has in really sharing his knowledge and encouraging you guys to do different things and learn about different things. And I think that really is one of the cornerstones of what keeps Sahd moving forward, is really embracing all of the different employees' knowledge bases and encouraging and foster those areas where you want to learn and develop, like this, having a podcast and being so face forward with your presence in different platforms really does help to get the word out about who you guys are and what you do, and also highlight how different you are and how you think.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate that. I guess kind of going to this, coming here and going to, it could be anyone that joins the chamber, so there's a lot of learning for you to do.
Oh, yeah.
Your job, yeah.
This is the best part of my job. Honestly, I think I have one of the best jobs because I can go to all different types of businesses and I get just a firsthand tour and understanding of who they are and what they do. And I guess to some people, maybe that doesn't sound like it's a job perk, but for me, it really is. You know, I get to have an in-depth understanding of all of our local businesses and all of the areas that they touch. So I mean, just from the standpoint of looking at your location here in Columbia, how far reaching are you guys? How far are you interacting and doing commerce?
Well, I think when I started here, Dan would always say like 30-mile radius we kind of have, but I think we're trying to reach out a little more.
Yeah.
Probably to like 35 to 40 miles around here, and keep growing. We want
pretty
to.
far out in York and pretty far, like the Ola area. Just still growing.
And would you say that the presence that you are fostering right now here with the podcast and with the presence on the social media platforms has helped to increase that awareness?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has. A lot of people that I don't think really know anything about scrap kind of know about us just from like Carrie and Isaiah on the videos or just seeing random stuff pop up. Yeah, I think
people see us at events and they're like, "Oh, we just watched you the other day," or "We love following you guys on LinkedIn," and all that. Like that's just pops up randomly everywhere we go.
Yeah, and it's good because like
It helps build like trust and stuff too.
Yeah.
And like we put ourselves out there. We're not like we're showing who we really are.
yeah, we've learned like that people kind of have to like for scrap really a lot of people just work with who the people that they like and have a relationship with, and like putting the online presence kind of makes people feel like they like kind of gives them a taste of who you are and they kind of know what they expect coming here. So I think that's the best thing for it about it.
And I would say that it also really helps too, because you're right, people do work with who they know and how they have those connections. And I think in this industry in particular, there's also a level of honesty that comes with that, because essentially they're trusting that you are going to be giving them the correct price and you're going to be assisting them when they come in, and they're going to be able to trust you. And so not only the presence that you have within social media, but also the point that you really make to be in person at events, to actually back up. It's not just this is who we are when we are on a podcast. This is who we are in person as well, and having those connections. And for me, that's what the Chamber's all about. You know, I probably will eventually have scrap metal that I can bring to you, but it's not in the first thing in my mind that, oh, now I know where to take my scrap metal. For me, it's more now I know where I can, if I'm talking to chamber members who are expressing that they have a need for X, Y, and Z, I can connect them to someone of my members who I know, who I trust. And it could also be that maybe I'm going to direct people to you because they have a question I don't have the answer to, but you probably will. Now, I will say, Alex, kudos to you, because when I asked how many cans are in this bale, you were the only one that knew. So good job.
Thank you.
Hey, I was close on the weight.
You were close on the weight.
I don't know. I think I've heard Dan talk about it many times, so I just try to remember some things. What do you think? Like, just talking about like learning and continual learning, having connections. Or I guess first, kind of how did you get into your role at Lancaster Chamber, and was this always something you wanted to do? What were you doing before?
And what is your role? Like, can you explain it to them?
Sure. So I'm currently the executive director of the Northern Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce. So basically what that means is I am in charge. I help to guide the chamber with the assistance of my board. And I did not always want to work for a Chamber of Commerce. As a matter of fact, I fell into this job in a matter of speaking. So my first 16 years professionally, I worked for a nonprofit, Junior Achievement, which focuses on financial literacy and education. And I love doing that. I did volunteer coordination, program development, board management, and it was something that, I'm so old that I answered an ad in the newspaper for that job. And it worked out to be a really good fit for me. But once I had been there about 16 years, I had reached a point in my career where I realized that, there could be potentially other things out there for me. And at that time, what was the effort at Chamber was advertising for someone to do their events and member management. And I thought, maybe something I could do. I live in Denver. I grew up on a dairy farm in Northern Lancaster County. So Northern Lancaster County was always very much part of who I am, and I really love our area. Had the opportunity to interview with the Ephrata Chamber, and they offered me the position. So I came on board originally just as a member relations events coordinator. About 1 year in, we made the really good decision to rebrand to be the Northern Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce, so that when people heard our name, they would understand that we covered all of Northern Lancaster County, which I get asked this question a lot. For our chamber, it's considered to be everything above Route 30 and to the east of 72. And we did the rebrand, and in 2017, no, January of 2019, I apologize, they asked me if I would be interested in being the executive director of the chamber, which at that time, after a year of being the only employee and realizing that I could do this is something that I could flourish at, I took on the role, and I haven't looked back since. So it's I think for a lot of people, there is just a point where you just fall into something and it's not a plan. And if someone, kudos to those who do know what they want to do from the very beginning and they're able to go out and get it. But my experience has been that you go through really having the opportunity to learn and grow and flesh out those areas where you have an interest and where your skill set really leads you. And the chamber for me is perfect because I just love learning about all of our different members, and I really love connecting people. I get a deep amount of just fulfillment in knowing that I am helping my members or individuals if they are on a search for something. If I can connect them to someone else who's going to help foster their growth and learning or their impact in the area, that makes me really, really happy. And so that's why with my members, I'm consistently trying to understand who they are, what they do, how I can assist them, what their connections need to be to answer questions. And sometimes that's the furthering of their business, but sometimes it's also just the furthering of them personally so that they have an opportunity to connect. And it's been a great experience so far. It's led me to be able to do things I never thought I'd do. Yeah. And it also allows me to, really have an impact in an area that I love. And for us, with Northern Lancaster County, it's great because it's anybody who wants to be doing business in Northern Lancaster County. Because obviously I'm sitting here in Columbia. Yeah. I'm not going to pretend this is Northern Lancaster County. It's not. But you as Sahd have a dedicated interest in doing business with the businesses in Northern Lancaster County and having them understand who you are and what you do. And so it's just exciting to me that I'm able to help facilitate that we can have, interesting guys like you as part of our chamber and really have that connection so that they can now understand exactly what goes into metal recycling and have those abilities, should they need your services, to partner with someone who they trust and know to get that done.
Yeah, I know you said about connections. I came to the White Elephant event, and me and him have breakfast on Friday. So what all events do you do for connections throughout the year? What are some of your big ones?
Oh, geez. Well, some of the big ones that we do that are really connected focus, actually, that's a great question. It's very good for right now in particular because we have our Business Expo. So Business Expo takes place on Thursday, April 27th, and that's going to be at Iron Spire Complex in Adamstown. And that event is one where we provide the opportunity for our members to have exhibit spaces to really connect with the community at large about who they are and what they do on a grand scale. So we'll have 70 plus businesses there that we'll be sharing. It's from 4:30 to 7. So that's one of our largest connective events. But we also have our chamber picnic that is for our chamber members that helps them to connect in a really just relaxed, low-key way. Monthly, we do a minimum of 5 events.
Oh, okay.
So our events span, yes, networking and connective events, but we also do very dedicated educational opportunities for our members, really looking to provide them with education topics that are going to further the needs that they have, whether that's advertising or understanding marketing, or it is in sales and management or fraud prevention. There is a myriad of topics that our members who are, small to mid-sized businesses as well as large businesses, where they're looking to have access to experts to understand how these topics impact them and walk away with immediate steps they can take to better their business. So it's everything from our first Friday breakfast, which is, just getting together and having breakfast together, to our lunch and learns, to our business after hours, of which you guys are going to be hosting one this coming week on Thursday. And that's going to be awesome because people can come together and network, but also learn more about who you are and what you do. So it's always exciting. The biggest thing that we have this year that we will only do one time, because you only do it once, is our 100th anniversary dinner. So that's going to be in May on the 18th. Yeah, we're going to have Coach Dick Vermeil as our keynote speaker, and that's really going to be a huge celebration of our members, because making it to 100 years is amazing. I had a small part in that, but I'm just excited that I'm here for that celebration.
Yeah.
It's going to be at the Lancaster County Convention Center in downtown.
Yeah, that is pretty cool to see. I guess that means like it goes through generations and stuff, still working through the chamber. So that's pretty cool.
I don't know if we did ask this question, but can you explain like what the chamber is, like what you do?
Sure, and I get that question quite a bit actually from individuals, particularly of your age, because usually my younger professionals don't necessarily understand what a chamber of commerce does, and that's totally understandable. Essentially, we as a Northern Lancaster County Chamber of Commerce really exist to be able to provide opportunities for our business members to be able to connect with each other and grow. It's the focus on providing a space where our members can get to know one another so they could potentially do business with each other, which is very important. But from our aspect as a chamber, we really focus more on the connections. So it's connecting our business professionals together in a way where they now have that access as a resource, an ability to be able to further those connections for those individuals. We have members who consistently will be referring other business professionals that they interact with who may or may not be chamber members to chamber members that they know. It's also really a focus on education as well. As I said, it's, businesses are consistently being hit with a lot of challenges every single day, whether it's cash flow management or it is, phishing scams, fraud prevention. There are so many different things, getting your sales force where it needs to be, understanding customer service, understanding social media and how to have that impact and utilize that. The chamber is a vehicle that helps facilitate dedicated programming where our members can see that they can sign up, they can learn, it's organized, and they're able to come, get the information they need, and then get back to work. And we really try to provide that in a way that fits everyone's schedule. So we as a chamber do programming first thing in the morning. We have lunches, we have afternoon. It's really diverse. Now, one of the things that most people know chambers of commerce about, if they know anything about chambers, is ribbon cuttings. So one of my favorite things is to do ribbon cuttings, and those are for the opening of a new business or the expansion of a business or an anniversary. We have a pair of big scissors and ribbon, and I actually travel around with those in my car. So I always say it's the coolest thing I have. Being part of the chamber is the big scissors. And yes, they do work. Everybody always asks that. They do work.
So I remember kind of what I was going to ask you about, like, do you think that's kind of what drives you every day, is just connecting? Like you said, you came here, you kind of took in what you could about the scrap process, and now you can help another chamber member if they need like recycling needs. Do you think that's kind of what drives you, is like making the connections within the chamber?
100%. Yeah.
Because it's like really shows, and then if you do see the two people work together, like you can really see your work go a long way.
It does, yeah. And there is nothing better for me than when I have the opportunity to get to know someone. And for us, when I say a chamber member, I think it's super important that everybody understands for the Northern Lancaster Chamber, all of our businesses, all of their employees are chamber members. And Sahd definitely understands that, because all of you have attended a chamber event. It's not just Dan, it's not just the face of Sahd, it is everyone. And all of you have had the opportunity to be able to learn something, to have connections, to be able to foster those. And for me, being able to, when you come to an event, introduce you to someone else, whether maybe it's another young professional who is just getting started and they're not necessarily feeling comfortable with networking yet because they don't know how to do it, or they don't know anyone else in the room. You gentlemen would all be great connections for them because you are young professionals and you could feel very comfortable talking about, introducing them to people because you know a lot of people in the chamber, and also sharing who you are and what you do. There's a level of understanding that we have, so much knowledge within our chamber members, whether they have been in business for 50 plus years and they're a business owner, or you've only been in your job you're coming up on your 2-year anniversary. The diversity of knowledge that every single person has and their experiences cannot be understated, because your ability to be able to connect isn't just limited in the job that you have or the industry that you're in. Everyone can benefit from interacting with individuals from all different, if you want to call it just industries or life experiences, whether it's, someone who's younger than you, older than you. No one should discredit the experiences that you have had. I have done a lot of different things in my life, but it's not going to be the same as what you've done. And in the short time frame we were doing the tour, I got to learn more about you, Isaiah. And it's interesting because one of the things that I know with you is you do not like to correspond through email so much.
Yes, you're right.
And that's okay. And I understand that because for you, probably, I'm going to take a guess, it's going to be more texting.
Text messages.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's important because that is understanding how to reach not only my chamber members, but also how to interact with your employees. And so that is also something that could potentially, for me, be a topic for an educational program for my chamber members. Because as we have new generations consistently coming into the workforce, understanding how to best reach everyone is so important. It's not that you were ignoring me, you just really don't correspond through email.
Yeah.
And I didn't think you were ignoring me, just so you know.
Okay.
I also knew you were busy.
It's
but
kind of like I guess the younger generation. We just grew up with text messages on the iPhone. Email is kind of on the computer and stuff. I would say, anyways.
Absolutely, because I will tell you, I love talking on the phone. I would sooner speak with someone on the phone than through an email or a text message.
Yeah.
But I recognize that's just because that's my mode of communication where I'm comfortable. And everyone has different comfort levels in how they choose to communicate. That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it wrong. What it means is that I, as a leader, need to understand that I need to reach my members wherever they are. So that means that we are constantly learning as growing as an organization to be able to best have an impact for our membership. We send emails as reminders because it does help people see, hey, this is coming up and I can sign up for it. And who knows, within the next year or so, we might be sending text message reminders because we want to make sure that nobody misses out on opportunities that are afforded to them.
Yeah. You're talking about kind of different, having a mindset as a leader and knowing kind of what other people, how they like to be communicated with and stuff. When we go to the chamber events and stuff, you are the leader there. You're always in front of the room talking, getting everyone together. How do you think you learned, have you always been a leader, would you say? Or how do you think you learned to lead the way you have to at this job?
So I would say that obviously my experience through my entire career has definitely helped. You can't really pinpoint anything definitively, but I can tell you where I received my love of public speaking, which I do love public speaking. Love talking in front of people. When I was in my late teens, I served as the Lancaster County Dairy Princess. So I told you I grew up on a dairy farm. And I was the 1997-1998 Lancaster County Dairy Princess. And beyond a shadow of a doubt, that is what fostered my love of public speaking, because when you serve as the dairy princess, you're the representative, really as an ambassador for the dairy farmers to help educate all generations about the dairy industry in Lancaster County. So that's doing presentations to preschoolers, talking to elementary schoolers, high schoolers, adults, senior citizens, customers, farmers, and you have a year in which you are doing nonstop presentations, interactions with consumers at large, and you're either going to get really good at public speaking or you're just going to muddle through it.
Yeah.
I was really, really lucky, and I got really good at public speaking. And I'm still, to this day, really, really lucky because my job allows me to have an outlet for a skill set that has been developed that I feel very comfortable with. And
Yeah.
it's a benefit for my organization. I feel that the chamber does benefit because I don't shy away from being in front of a microphone and helping to guide people. And I've done event planning my entire career as well. So it's been very helpful for me to have those experiences combined with my volunteer coordination. And what that results in is when we do a chamber event, it's always really important to me that people know, right from the beginning, this is what time you need to be there. This is exactly where you're going and, where you're going to park. This is where you enter the building. When you come in, here is your name tag, and we know you by name. We know who you are. And then we provide you guidance on what's going to be happening next. And when we are doing a chamber program to bring everybody together, to do that welcome, to really have an opportunity for whoever our chamber host is to be able to introduce themselves, because that's the reason that we're there. Or if it's the educational programming, get things started right away, because I understand people have a finite amount of time that they are willing to, give to the chamber to be able to have that experience. And so I want to get down to that experience as soon as possible so that our members are really getting the value for their membership dollars.
I remember the event that you had at Tommy's Express, it's in Ephrata.
Yes.
You were on top of the barrels, standing, getting everyone's attention. I could tell you were comfortable. You were comfortable leading us all that day.
Yes, well, yeah, climbing on barrels isn't that hard for me. I did mention I grew up on a farm, so climbing on anything really isn't hard.
Yeah.
That also served me well when I was here taking a look at all of the scrap metal. When I tell you I can have some scrap, I can have some scrap, actually. I have access.
Nice. The
Also,
farm.
I guess also talking about the big ribbon cutting and your big scissors. We've seen that on LinkedIn and stuff. How important do you think keeping a social media following, do you think that helps your chamber a good bit?
Absolutely. So we really focus on first and foremost, whenever we're doing an event, showcasing that, because we want people to know that we are active in providing different opportunities for our members. But then in addition, I truly believe that having sometimes a unique social media presence can be a huge benefit for our members and for the chamber at large. So one of the things that we are known for is definitely Halloween. So every Halloween I create a character and I go out and visit different chamber members just to highlight them. So this past year, because we had over 100 new members join the chamber, for Halloween I was a bee because the chamber was buzzing.
I was sick this day.
I know you guys weren't. Sahd was one of the members who joined last year, so I came to Sahd as Queen Bee Liz, and we did a photo with Mike, and that was put up on our social media. Another thing that we do to really highlight our members that our social media definitely has an impact on is when Mrs. Claus comes to town. So Mrs. Claus does all of her holiday shopping in northern Lancaster County, and she is going and she's visiting all northern Lancaster County chamber members, and we do videos and photos that highlight that, and individuals look for that every year. They follow Mrs. Claus around on her tour of where she's gone shopping, and that is something that allows us to utilize our social media in a way that is non-traditional for Chamber of Commerce, but also highlights our members in a way that they would not have done otherwise with the different videos, and they're able to have those and share those out. Yeah. I think that the utilization of our social media really is focused more on our members than the chamber itself, and that's the way it should be. It's an offshoot as a way to be able to highlight the diversity that we have within our membership.
Yeah. How do you think? What's like? Well, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, are you on other social medias other than LinkedIn?
Yes. So right now, our primary social media outlets are LinkedIn, as well as Facebook and Instagram. And that's all, much like you guys, like that's all homegrown. So that is all done within the chamber. We handle doing the videos and doing all the postings and getting those up. So our ideas basically stem from, just whatever pops into my head that will work. That's what we do.
Cool. Do you want to kind of go into, I guess, you were mentioning you have your kids at home. I don't know if you have a family at home or kind of what activities you like to do outside of the chamber.
Oh, sure. So, I have two teenagers, so Jay and Evelyn, and they go to Cocalico High School. So I will say that they keep me very busy with that, as they are both involved in Evelyn in marching band, Jay in color guard. So I would always say, however, that outside of, my family, where I spend all of my time is volunteering. I refer to myself as a serial volunteer. I serve on a number of different boards. I also volunteer with a number of different committees, and really that's always been a big part of who I am, giving back to the community and being involved in different organizations that I feel are having an impact is super important. So I serve as the president of the Cocalico Education Foundation. I'm an alumni of Cocalico as well, as my girls going to school there. I also serve as the president of the Music Boosters for Cocalico. I'm involved with Real Life Community Services in their Cocalico Cares Committee. I also have involvement still with Lancaster County Dairy Promotion. I serve on Dementia Friendly Lancaster Advisory Board. I serve on the Discover Lancaster Advisory Board. I'm a 4-H leader. Probably there is way more than that.
So you're very busy.
I'm very busy, yeah. But I will say all of my volunteering is things that I'm really passionate about. And I really feel, and I've always felt this way, that everybody should volunteer in a capacity. And it doesn't matter where you're volunteering, but having the ability to be able to give back doesn't mean that you have to be, donating thousands of dollars or spending thousands of hours. Just taking time to be investing your own personal time in something that you're passionate about reaps so many benefits, not only for the volunteer organization and not only for the community, but for you. Volunteering is proven to really help improve your overall health, because the act of doing something for someone else provides so much of a lift for you.
It makes you feel good to see others, you helping out others.
Yes. Do you guys volunteer?
We work with, so personally I don't do any volunteering. I used to do a lot with like the youth group and stuff at our church. But the company we work with, like a couple different nonprofits like around Columbia. So there's like Hands Across the Street, helps out with homeless people. There's a couple other. We work with like Water Street and what's the other
Blessings
one?
of Hope.
Yeah,
Blessings of Hope.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're getting into it a little bit, but we definitely, on the personal level, it's something we can.
That would be
should
cool
definitely
though,
look into.
to like almost start something like that, like our own. Because I try, and not to like, make myself seem like a good person or nothing, but I do try to, help who I see on the streets, whether it's $1, whatever it be, and it does make you feel good.
No, and realistically, it's also just finding out where you want to give your time. So it's okay that you're not doing it now, but I think finding out where you'd like to give your time is very important, almost like interviewing, because you have really a lot of opportunities. We are really blessed in Lancaster County to have a number of really good nonprofit organizations. You mentioned a few right there, Blessings of Hope. They do a lot of really good work within the area and kind of mirrors almost what you guys are doing when you talk about, recycling and like reusing the metal. They are capturing food that would otherwise go into landfills and ensuring that it is not wasted and it's getting out to those who need it. But one of the things that you just shared that is really fantastic, Alex, and I always love to hear this, is that Sahd actually encourages and partners along with nonprofits.
Oh, yeah.
Anytime I interact with a business who is very intentional about supporting local nonprofits and partnering along with them and encouraging and allowing their employees to participate, that is huge, because that shows the understanding that the development of a strong community starts with identifying different pressure points within the community and really working with nonprofits who are trying to solve those issues. And I love it. I love it when for-profit organizations are proactively becoming involved in supporting that.
It's a pretty cool thing. I guess we don't really even think about it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's a very cool thing because there are some businesses who don't take time for that, and they don't encourage or allow their employees to, during their work day, to be able to do that. So anytime we interact with businesses who make that a priority in one of their core portions of their mission, that is fantastic. And it also really bleeds into the understanding of who they are and really how they choose to be leaders within their communities.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
I don't know. Do you guys have any questions, or do you have any questions for us? I guess. Any questions for us on our own podcast here?
Yeah,
Well-
you're up. Spotlight's on you.
Okay, great. So how long have each of you, I know, Isaiah, 2 year, you're coming up on 2-year
Yep.
anniversary working here. How long have you been here?
5 months.
5 months, all right?
2 years in November.
2 years in November?
And then I'll be like 3 years full time, like in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, 5 months.
Yep.
So far, what is the hardest part of working here?
I don't know, honest. I think it's at first it was a lot to learn. I think that was like the hardest thing, like learning the different alloys, learning what's what. They're like, oh yeah, the mix or extrusion, and I'm like, which one's that? So I was starting to I went away for a month for truck driving school because they sent me to school, and then I came back and it kind of lost everything. So I'm getting back into everything again. So yeah, it just took a lot. It was a lot more, and they do a lot more here than I ever thought I would be doing. I didn't think I would be going to the chamber events, and I didn't think I would be going to dinners and meeting customers and all that stuff. But no, I really enjoy it.
So from that standpoint, the things that you didn't think you'd be doing, does that provide enrichment for you?
Yeah, because I thought at first I thought I was just going to be a truck driver, just behind the scenes. And Dan's like, yeah, no, it's not. No, you're not just being a truck driver. So it's I'm in the yard being an ops leader with Alex. I'm helping the boys out. I'm even doing
He probably gets pulled around. He's probably in the first couple months been pulled around the most.
Yeah.
Just because he has he came in as our second truck driver, and then we got really busy with hauling steel. So then he had to jump onto that, and then try to keep his head back in the yard. So yeah,
And then,
I remember he said the hardest thing was bouncing at first.
Yeah, and then it's I do customer relationships or stuff too. So I go out and talk to the customers when I'm there. I don't want to just drop your box and leave, and you never see who I am or what I look like. Just here's my phone number. Give me a call if you need anything, or you know what I mean. Just talking like a normal person to them. Or we take donuts to customers. We take coffee to customers. But
Bunch of different stuff.
yeah, honestly, I thought too I didn't think we would become as close friends as we are now too. I didn't think that was a whole thing here, because at other jobs that I've been at, it's just you come in, clock in, you leave, you talk to who you want to talk to, and you're out the door. There's 600 people, 700 people at other companies, and there's 14 of us. We're together at work. We leave work, we go to the gym by 4:30, 5 o'clock. We're there till 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then we're texting throughout the night, or we're doing stuff together on the weekends. I'm the older guy, so I'm 7 years older than you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Getting up there, man.
they're my little brothers. You know what I mean? We're I look out for them, they look out for me. It's a whole different. Everything was just different than what I was used to, and I'm grateful for it, honestly.
No, and that's awesome.
And Dan's he's you're learning. I'm all right, yes sir.
Learning
I'm
something.
following you, and I'm following Alex, and following Mike, and but no, I'm excited. Things are going to keep growing. They're going to what is it?
Nashville.
Nashville.
Next year, or next week.
And like I said, I've been here for 5 months, and Dan looked at me the other week, and he's like, "You're in charge when they go to Nashville," and I'm like, All right. It's a little nerve-wracking, but no, I'm excited. I have these two with me, so I know everything will be good.
Yeah.
That might be the most difficult when they leave, and I'm the guy.
He's holding it. These three are going to be holding it down for
But
us.
I'll let you know the next Commerce how that goes.
That sounds good.
I'll update this question.
All right, Gil, what do you like the most? Like, what job here do you like the most? When you come in and you're like, all right, you're doing this today, which one is the job that you're like, yes?
Probably when I used to Sandy, when I got to cut up like aluminum, like tubes or stuff like that.
Machinery.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. I like seeing it too when it's on the dispatch. I got to do it.
What's the hardest one?
Hardest. I don't really think anything's hard. I mean, some things are like annoying,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think anything is hard if you just put your mind to it. Just do it.
Now, just out of curiosity, is some of that because you are so well supported here and you do get training to understand everything?
Yeah, I think everything comes from that, from the start. I just try to like gather everything that they try to throw at me, and I think I got it now. So I think it makes everything a lot easier though. So
I think it's hard to answer. Like in the yard, there's not too many things that we're like actual physical jobs that we're like looking forward to getting done, but it's just kind of like I don't know. I feel like I get a sense, like it's like after it, I kind of get more like I get more out of it. I would say like we did like the load down there this morning, us four.
Yeah.
It's like this load that's like we always get, and we always have to sort it out by hand. It's like these huge beams, pieces of pipe, like steel banding and stuff.
Turnings.
Like it's not the funnest thing to do, but when you finish it all, and like we all do it together, afterward, I feel like it's kind of
feel
get
accomplished.
get the
Yeah.
pleasure.
The
out of
hardest
it.
part is probably just like the mental side of things.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we could do the physical part, but like really just staying positive to it can be a challenge. But I think we've
Then the weather.
and the weather.
I was just thinking as you were saying, I mean, like there has to be times of year where it's like
The cold.
great to be out, and then other times where it is not.
Yeah.
It's been a little chilly sometimes.
Yeah. This morning I was expecting like 50s and 60s, but it wasn't.
Yeah, I know. Lately, I've been coming out, I'm like, it's not nearly as warm as I want it to be.
No. Ran
Sure.
outside today in my t-shirt, and I'm like, oh, wait, where's my hoodie at?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work for right now.
I think the hardest day are definitely when it's cold, especially in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily this winter we didn't get too much snow.
Yeah, we've been good.
True.
So now, Isaiah, I have a question for you. So I know that according to Dan, this is kind of your baby, the everything with the social media and the podcast. So was this your idea when you
Like the podcast?
yeah, and
Uh,
all of everything that you guys are doing on social media?
So I would say Dan probably had the idea of the podcast. We just did like little, like price updates and predictions for next week, stuff like that. Carrie was more on like the TikTok side of things and making the short form content, and I kind of just found my way into all of it, and I've taken over on this stuff, more the behind the scenes. I don't really sit in on these too often, and then the TikTok stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know, it kind of just happened.
And did you have any training on this at all, or is this something where you basically like just picked it up and ran with it?
So I've always been like making videos my whole life. Like I had like the little iPod Nano I just ran around my house making videos with, and then so I've kind of always had like, you know, the knack for it or whatever you'd call it. But the more behind the scenes of the podcast, we have our guy Adam that taught me a lot of stuff. Well,
Shout out Adam.
yeah, he was at the
I do know Adam, yes.
Adam Graham,
Shout out
yeah.
Adam.
Yeah,
Shout
shout
out
out to Adam at Bootstrap
I
Local.
was actually on the phone with him before this. But yeah, he helped me through a lot of this stuff and taught me a lot. And then also like YouTube, stuff like that. You can learn a lot from YouTube as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, my final question will be for Alex, since you are the elder here.
All right. Well, he's the elder.
No. As
Elder
far
for being
as
here.
elder in time frame
Good
being
purpose.
here.
Yeah.
What, I'm going to ask you an easy one. This is going to be an easy one for you. What is the craziest thing someone has brought into the yard to be recycled?
I don't know if that's an easy one.
That's easy.
Like, so last week this guy got. I don't know if he's gonna be back in the yard anymore, but he brought us like 2 big cinder blocks and a TV. So those don't really recycle too well.
Yeah. I thought
Also,
you were gonna say something else.
I can't even talk about that one. Someone brought us a full bodysuit. That was interesting.
A full bodysuit?
Yeah. Like for like drag queens, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Slightly.
It's
It was different.
not metal.
I was going to say none of these things are metal, though.
Yeah.
So what's the strangest piece of metal that has been brought in?
I don't know. I don't know if it's strange, but like there used to be a big. So when you used to look that way, like probably in the where the yard's more open up there, you could see it more. Like there was a big water tower in Columbia,
Oh yeah.
and we could see them. Like there was guys on the top of it torching it down.
Oh, wow.
People bringing the cranes pieces of it like after they torch it down with the crane down to the bottom and then hauling it over here. So that was pretty cool to see. Like see the whole water tower that I always seen all my life, like down and in the back of the yard processed.
Actually, you could see
I
that
thought-
from the high school, the
Yeah.
Columbia High School. You could see that water tower.
Yeah, the guy torching. I thought
It's a
that
landmark.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, and that's actually really neat. Like just from the standpoint of you're just responding to like locally, like that's always been there, and just see it
Yeah.
being taken apart and then driven into your yard,
Yeah.
and having a full understanding of like that's been standing for how many decades, and now here it is, and it's going to be recycled
it's
and
pretty cool.
have an impact.
Yeah.
Well, this has been awesome for me, and I just want to share with you guys that all of your answers really have helped to foster a greater understanding for me of why Sahd is as successful as it is. And
Thank you.
I can sum it up in talking
That one enough.
talking about how, you as someone who's been here 5 months, highlighting how much it has meant to you that not only do you have a workplace in which there is an understanding that you are working together as coworkers, but you're almost like a family, and it
Yeah.
happens naturally. It's not forced upon you, but also understanding how you are given the flexibility and encouraged to learn and grow and represent and be able to be out in different aspects. You're not just, you're just a yard guy. You work in the yard. All of you really have the opportunity to flesh out different areas of interests and skills to have an impact not only on yourselves but on the organization, and really being able to see how your individual skills and talents lead to having a workplace where you can see the impact of what you're doing. And I would venture to say that that goes so much further than them giving you donuts on a Friday morning,
Yeah.
or giving you a new t-shirt. The work that they do to invest in you and appreciate your individual skill sets and letting you know that that's welcome and impactful here is really helping with your engagement and overall morale. And you can feel it when you step on site here at Sahd. Like everybody seems to be in a good mood.
Yeah. That's like one of Dan's favorite things to do. Like, well, I'll go up and ask him a question. He goes, I don't know why you're asking me this question. He goes, just put it in dispatch and do it. He's like, you don't have to tell me everything. Like, I'm not, that was another thing. Like, I'm not used to that. He's like, just kind of like, you know what you are allowed to do, and you know what to do. He's like, just do it.
Now, I will ask a follow-up question here. What happens when there's a mistake? What happens when something doesn't go right?
Tell them about Thursday.
Blameless problem.
What happened Thursday?
Thursday we had a stainless truck that I had to load up, and pretty much just like it wasn't going too well really, but we had to unload it a couple times.
And then he dumped stuff.
Yeah, then the last time we unloaded it to really like, because we make lists and then like who we're selling it, like the broker, we
Sure.
give them the list of what we're selling, like each individual weight of the boxes and stuff. Pretty much like our list was just messed up, so we had to unload the truck. While we were unloading it, like we dropped some boxes that like pretty much they break when they fall, and then it's like turnings that aren't magnetic, so we had to shovel them all back in. But yeah, really like we were talking about that. We had like a debrief about this morning, so just kind of talking what's better next time. And really like Thursday was the best. We all just really came together.
Yeah.
Like I was really like I'll say I was just really pissed off about it because I was working on it from the beginning, and by the time everything, like the boxes fell, I was doing it for 2 hours, and I was just like done. So they all just stepped up and really helped me. So yeah,
Calm them down, tell them to get out of the way, and we got it.
Yeah,
That
I think
we can do.
that was probably the best we've dealt with a mistake in a while. So
Yeah.
we're getting there on that stuff.
No, but that's
Oh,
good.
you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, that just comes back to what I said. Like, you guys are a team, and it could have been, like, well, you screwed up. If you hadn't been so stupid and not asked for help, it was no, we're here. Let's take a break. Let's clean it up, and then let's learn from that.
We'll make fun of you later.
Yeah, I mean, of course they're gonna make fun of you later. Like, that's a given.
Yeah.
But it's the understanding that in the moment you were
We all
able to
talked
handle
with,
that.
Like, at the end of it, we all like got with Mike, and he was pretty much the main one there, like helping keep everyone calm and just getting us through it. And he was like basically just like, it made a lot of sense to everyone that just like there's no point in getting upset, or like you can get upset, but just push through it because it doesn't really do anything. Like at the end of the day, we still had to sweep up all them, get them back on the truck. So
I think his
Yes.
the best words that came out his mouth were, we either drown in our mistakes, or we all just come together and just get it done.
yeah,
That's all
Yeah.
we can do.
so that was a good one. It was a bad Thursday, but I think it was a good lesson
Yeah.
for us.
I have to agree.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You got it done. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
Liz.
Thank you for having
I
me
think
out. This has been
went well.
great.
Yes. Maybe we can have you on again, or get some more chamber members in here. And
Yeah,
fill in the
absolutely. I'm sure I have some members that would love to do that, but as you already know, I love to talk, so I'd be more than happy to come again.
spot. All right, sweet. Thank you for having.
Thanks,
Thank you
Liz.
for coming on. Thank you.
very much.
Thanks, guys.